Hi everyone, I'm Marlow Felton.
I'm Chris Felton.
Thanks for joining us, and today we're going to talk about the 7-day challenge. You can do pretty much anything for 7 days, right? Right?
Depends what it is.
It depends on what it is. Okay, maybe not run nonstop. There's a few things that you wouldn't want to do for 7 whole days.
Drink.
Oh yeah, right.
She went to school in New Orleans though, so
okay, honey.
I think you drank.
So, gosh, we're off to a great start. Hey, and look, our Christmas tree's gone. Aren't you glad? Chris finished his honey-do list and took down the Christmas tree. Yay!
It was good.
Yeah, so Happy New Year. So that's why we were going to start off the new year with a 7-day challenge. So what is the 7-day challenge? Basically for 7 days, because 7 days is a short enough time frame, you can commit to doing this for 7 days. And that is to write down every single expense that you have, that you spend money on a daily basis for 7 days. So this would be...
And you're writing it.
You have to write it down. No. You have to write it down. So write down the coffees, the dinners, the lunches. To the penny. What else would you... online shopping. I mean, I don't know who would do that. I'm laughing because like every day, like 2 boxes show up at the front door.
But those are necessities.
Those are necessities, and I don't have to go somewhere to get it, so it's different. It's different.
It's not like a pair of shoes every day.
Right, exactly. But
we do practice what we preach.
We do. Yeah. We're human, and we've been down a crazy road of spending extravagantly and unnecessarily, and that's what the 7-day challenge is going to help you uncover. Is some of the things that you might be spending money on somewhat mindlessly that really aren't adding value to your life. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down every expense that you have, and you can probably just don't put in the mortgage and things like that because that's a monthly expense. We're talking about discretionary money, spending money, and then total it for the week. And then go back and look at the items and determine whether they are negotiable or non-negotiable. Meaning, are they really necessary or is it really unnecessary? And is it really adding value to your life? So Chris and I have a really funny example. And we were just talking about this before. We probably should have turned on the camera while Chris and I had this conversation because Chris found out for the first time something that I had been doing prior to our financial transformation that he was unaware of. And I just never brought it up. I had actually pretty much forgotten about it because I created a new habit and I stopped doing it. So years ago, gosh, this probably was at least 10 years ago, I would go to Starbucks at least 2 or 3 times a week, and it was frequently. And I would get a latte because they're yummy, right? And I would just crave the latte. And then they have these wonderful. This was the part that Chris didn't know about. They have these I don't know if they still have them or not because I haven't looked. I looked the other way now. But they had these pumpkin scones. If they still have the pumpkin scones at Starbucks, run. They were so good and they tasted so yummy with my coffee. And I go and I pick up my latte and my pumpkin scone. And that was my little treat. But then I took a look at our list and I thought, you know what? Not only do I not really need the latte, I don't need the pumpkin scone, and it's probably some unnecessary calories that I don't need. I was actually those
are in her fat days.
We're kidding because I've never been fat,
but she considers.
I do consider it because I was a little bit heavier than I am now, and
she's never been fat.
I'm sure that the pumpkin scone and the latte did not help. So anyway, I decided to cut that out. because it was not adding any value to my life, really. And so what's interesting that happened is that I created a new habit. So I was just reminded of that today because I knew we were going to be talking about this. I'd forgotten about the pumpkin scone. I mean, thank God I forgot about the pumpkin scone and the latte and how yummy it tastes together. I mean, I need to stop talking about this or I'm going to go run to Starbucks right now.
Yeah.
But I created a new habit and I decided that, if I was going to Starbucks for a business meeting, which we do frequently, I would just order regular coffee because, it's really I don't need the latte. Certainly don't need the scone. And I created a new habit and you actually pretty much did the same thing minus the pumpkin scone.
Yeah. Well, in our book, I talk about Quiznos.
Oh, that's right, because you had the Quiznos. You had a bad Quiznos habit.
There's sandwiches and the salad and I think, and by the way, I calculated how much money we've saved because you broke your habit.
Yeah, by breaking that habit. So after I disclosed the pumpkin scone, he ran the numbers and
so
how much.
By her breaking that habit over the last 10 years, it's made us $7,342.
$7,342. But I think he owes me $7,000.
Yeah.
Honey, you owe me $7,000 for breaking that habit.
Go and put it in our investment account. So kidding. I think the key to all this is, and I had the story for a long time, was that the small stuff doesn't matter, and once the big thing happens, or the big raise, or the big sale, or I get my tax refund. Hopefully, you're not getting big tax refunds, but that's a whole nother story. Talk for another day. But no, once something good out here happens, then I'm going to get my act together, and you just can't do it. And one of my favorite quotes of T.R. Vecker's was, until you start handling the dollars you have now well, you're not going to see anymore. That was a transformational quote that changed my life. And so once we started paying attention to small dollars, that's when everything changed. And, some of the people we interviewed in the book, and one of our mentors is a $250 million net worth guy. He would just say every time he'd spend $100, he just imaged, the compounding of that
and what it would look like
over generations. And it's not, I sat down with my son and we had the same conversation of just teaching him, super smart kid, but no one's ever taught him compounding and the rule of 72 and some of these things so most people struggle around money. They just don't understand compound interest and they don't get, small dollars. But that's, you take care of the small stuff, the big stuff's going to show up. And then I think the big thing is, like with Quiznos, it was like, I'm having a bad day, I deserve it, or woo, I'm having a great day, I deserve it. And that those rationalizations, validations, justifications, excuses, you got to understand when that's coming up. And then we connected all that small spending to our big goal of getting a home at that time. Mm-hmm. And that was really compelling.
Right.
And it was just like, is this latte, scone, Quiznos thing, is it moving us closer to what we really want or further away? And we got to move closer a dollar at a time. So the small dollar thing, we talk about it a lot, but the small dollar thing is significant. And once you start taking care of that, it's amazing. Compounding is very powerful. Compounding dollars, compounding thinking, compounding decisions, and it's good stuff.
Right. So if you're just joining us, I'm Marlow Felton.
I'm Pumpkin Scone.
He wants to be he's going to turn into a pumpkin scone.
Pumpkin Scone Felton.
He's like, wow, she likes him that much. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin scone.
Yeah.
This is Chris Felton, my husband, otherwise known as my sidekick. Anyway, we're talking about the 7-day challenge. The 7-day challenge is basically writing down every discretionary expense that you have, money that you spend every single day for 7 days. Most people don't consciously ever do this. That's why we're challenging you to do it, and it can be very telling. It changed our life when we took a close look at what we were spending money on, and we decided, one of many things to cut out was the Starbucks and my pumpkin scone addiction. And for Chris, it was his Quiznos addiction.
Yeah.
And just my Starbucks and pumpkin scone problem that I had by kicking that, over the last 8 years, we've saved $73,000, or I'm sorry, 70. Wow, that would be huge.
Well, it's going to compound into that.
It's going to compound eventually. It'll be
just
70.
Wait, she's going to die at 120. It'll probably be a couple million.
$7,300 just from kicking that habit. So I created a new habit, and now I don't even think about that pumpkin scone until today, and my mouth is watering just thinking about it. As soon as I'm going to,
if she's 10 pounds heavier next week,
right? Yeah, you see me, and I start getting heavier and heavier. You'll know what happened. But anyway, I created a new habit. I go into Starbucks, and I decided I didn't need the latte. I certainly didn't need the pumpkin scone, even though they're yummy. And we created a new habit. So basically, what we did is we went on, and this was extreme because it was desperate times calls for desperate measures. And Chris and I both agreed that we were going on a serious financial diet, like serious. And we did it for like a year. I would challenge you to do it for at least a week, because then you realize when you go on a financial diet, once you uncover those items that really aren't necessary because they're not adding value to your life, and you take those out, then you realize that you really didn't need them in the first place, and you can create a new habit. Really it's going to take about a month for you to create a new habit, so I would encourage you to do it longer. But we cut out happy hours, we cut out a lot of dinners. We've already mentioned the Starbucks, the pumpkin scone, and did I mention pumpkin scone?
All right.
And
stop, you're creating a new neural pathway.
I know, to Starbucks. There's one right down the street. No. But anyway, so, that's what I would encourage you to do, is to just, even if it's for a week, just to go on an extreme financial diet to see what's really unnecessary and what you can seriously do without. It's very telling, and it can change your life. It definitely changed our lives. And, we're talking about one habit that has saved us $7,300 over the last 8 years. And it's going to continue to compound and grow because there's many other ones, because we could calculate your Quiznos habit. And so
that was 6 figures. I mean, that was,
it
was. I need to look at our book again, but I put in, it was at least a 6-figure number, because it was $10 to $15 a day. And, I think, what we're talking about here is, going on a diet and creating a new habit. And it's not, I can either save money or have fun. You can do both, right? You can save money and have fun, but you got to kind of rein this in. And then once we kind of reined it in, then we created the fun account. We have another video on that. But, so we save money, and then we allocate money that, we're saving it, but this money that was going to, Quiznos, and I don't remember any of that stuff. Like, it didn't bring value to me. We took some of that money basically and redirected it into a fun account so we could go create, memories.
Right. In our new house.
Yeah, in our new home. So,
yeah.
So both, just remember that, man. You can
do both.
You can do both.
Well, so in what Chris is talking about, we had a goal of buying a new home. And so we basically redirected those dollars, and I built a spreadsheet where I actually tracked the money that we were redirecting and saving. And so I set up a separate account for our down payment for our house, because we were just laser focused on getting that down payment to buy the new house. And so there was even more of a connection between those dollars that were being unnecessarily spent. And I knew I had that spreadsheet. I knew how much was in that account for our down payment. And so if I even thought about going to Starbucks to get my pumpkin scone and my latte, I would think about, there I go again, my mouth is watering.
Right.
I'd be like, okay, well, let's take that $10 and let's put that $10 into that account for the down payment and watch that grow. And it was watching that account grow that was so satisfying. and we can make that emotional connection to giving up something else, really for something far more meaningful.
Yeah.
Right? A new home meant way more to us than me eating that stupid pumpkin latte or, pumpkin scone and the latte. And so that's what we're encouraging all of you to do is to, one, take the 7-day challenge, write everything down, and then really take a hard look at what you're spending money on and determine what's necessary and what's really not necessary, what's not adding value to your life, and what you could do without. And and take another challenge to go on a financial diet and redirect those dollars, allocate it towards something meaningful, track that, and you're going to be amazed at what could happen for you and your family. Because it's really all about building our dream life and creating more value in our life. And that's the whole point of having more money, right?
Correct.
So that's the 7-day challenge. I encourage all of you to go through the exercise and do that and take a hard look at those dollars. I've also included a link on this post with information on our Couples Money Forum. So you can continue this conversation on the Couples Money Forum if you join, and we have a special introductory offer to join the Couples Money Forum right now in our introductory phase of the forum. The forum is basically direct access to Chris and I, interactive videos, asking us questions, resources that are available to you 24/7, and Chris and I are available to you 24/7. Of course, when we're sleeping. We're sleeping, but it's always there, and you always have access to it. So, is there anything you wanted to add about that?
It's awesome. I love it. And we're building it. And there's, we spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaching for years, and this small price of whatever it is. It was $25 a month before,
right,
and it's now what is it?
No, it's still $25 a month. So, anyway, if you want to find out a little bit more about the Couples Money Forum,
we're gonna raise it here shortly.
We are we'll have to raise it.
So it's just the value, and I was actually flying back on the plane yesterday, and I was just kind of scrolling through some of the stuff that we've talked about and shared, and it was multi-million-dollar concepts,
right?
For really a small investment, a 1 or 2 pumpkin scone latte.
For the cost of
cup of coffee,
9 pumpkin scones, you can be part of the Couples Money Forum.
Anyway,
there you go.
We're big fans of it.
Yeah. So anyway, I encourage you all to take the 7-day challenge. And if you want to join the forum and continue that conversation, we're going to have conversations like that and many more to help keep you on track. So
that is our cat. Oh my God. That would be our cat. That was our cat.
Our cat just knocked over
underneath the
phone.
That was beautiful. She was
there wasn't an earthquake. That was our cat that knocked the phone off.
That was awesome.
That was hysterical. We love animals, and that stuff happens when you have animals. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck with the 7-day challenge.